Now, you wrote the first critical commentary on the Isaiah Targum. How did these texts even survive for 2,000 years? And when did scholars rediscover them?
It has been an extraordinary story. The Targums are literally 1,000-year tradition. That is, they unfolded over an extremely broad swathe of time. At the earliest levels, some of them, like the Isaiah Targum, represent traditions from the first century. Others of them are actually produced at a late stage, even during the Middle Ages. But fortunately, all of the Targums were assembled at various moments. For example, we have manuscripts of Targums from an ancient collection of manuscripts found in the Geniza, the storage house in Cairo. And those give us fragments from between the 7th century and the 9th century. And then during the Middle Ages, as a result of an extraordinary increase of Jewish learning, the Targums were produced and printed in Aramaic. Amazingly, they were not immediately translated.
Wow.
It literally took centuries before they were all brought out. So the series of which my translation of the book of Isaiah appears, that series is the first time in history that all of the Targums were translated into another language, in this case, English, so that scholars who didn't have the resource of the primary language would be able to have a way in to these extraordinarily rich sources.
Right. When I think about the preserving of the word and preserving of these texts is really, it's a miracle that some of these texts even survive some of the things that they've survived. Really,
it certainly is. And in the case of this Targum, the Isaiah Targum, it survives in several manuscripts. So it's also possible to compare one manuscript with another to arrive at the best reading that we can for what the intention was.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm going to set the scene over here. All right. I want you to walk us into a first century synagogue in Galilee. What would a Jewish person actually hear when the scriptures were being read?
Absolutely. Well, we would assemble and then we would together recite the Shema Yisrael, the Hear, O Israel. And then, depending upon the time of year, we would hear a portion of the Torah, the first 5 books, read out. We would hear that in Hebrew. Okay. And some of us who were learned would be able to understand that. But most of us would not be able to understand it. And in fact, most of us in Galilee are also illiterate. Then, after that reading aloud in Hebrew, we would hear the passage in Aramaic. And then, at that moment, interestingly, the person who gave the Targum would give it from memory.
Really?
And the reason for that was that you wanted to make a clear distinction between the written word and its translation or interpretation.
Wow.
We would also hear from the prophets. And so there evolved over time a coordinated system, as exists today in many churches for reading on a regular basis, deciding on which parts of the Torah we should have, which parts of the prophets. And in synagogues, you'd include in that which part of the writings, because those were the divisions recognized in the Judaism of the time: Torah, prophets, and writings.
Right.
As time went on, rabbis also permitted there to be more than one translation of a given portion of the prophets and of the writings, because there was more than one Targum around.
Right.
And therefore, the congregation could enjoy different interpretations by means of the Targums that they heard. And that's of importance because the Targums as we have them are not what we would call straight translations.
Okay.
They really are paraphrases.
Hmm.
They sometimes introduce fresh ideas into the original text. And these fresh ideas can also be compared to concepts that emerge not only within Judaism, but also within Christianity, since Christianity was the sister religion of Judaism.